Hello, welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie, and we are going to talk about mistake versus learning a lesson. We're going to talk about prepping, like what does it look like to prep for the week? What does it look like to have a successful week? How can we help you? And so lots of different things. It's not just going to be me. My husband is going to join me in just a second. Happy Sunday. If you're tuning in live, tell me where you're tuning in from. And we just got home from church. We made tacos for lunch. The girls helped with all of it. Now we're talking to you. So tell me where you're tuning in from. If you already have a plan for your week, meaning your menu, what does your menu look like? Or if I were to say, what is one thing that's going to be on your menu this week? Let me know in the chat because it gives other people ideas of what to make on their menu. So let me know what is on your menu for the week. For dinner. You can share anything, but oftentimes I did a live last night and the biggest question they have is, how do I make a dinner that appeases everybody in my family? So share with me what's on your menu for this week. All right. I like to say this. It's not my saying. I actually think, I kind of want to say it's in the Bible, but it might not be in the Bible. Hey, is this in the Bible, Steve? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. No? Oh, I know. Where there is no vision, the people perish. All right. Do you have a vision for your week? Listen, I'm in like church mode. All right. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I believe that's 100% accurate. Because if you don't take time today to plan for your week, if you don't take time to plan for your week, you're going to be going through the drive-thru. You're going to be making excuses. You're going to find yourself probably not going to the gym, probably deciding like, shoot, I didn't plan my meal, so now I'm going to eat this. And so what does that look like for you? My husband is going to join us. Are you guys ready for my guest of honor? All right. We thought we would share with you together.
I think the rest of the verse was, but those that keep the law are happy.
You mean where there is no vision, the people perish?
Yeah. A lot of people don't talk about the second part.
Where there is no vision, the people perish.
Hey, guess what?
And for those who keep the law, they're joyful.
Yeah, something like that. Depending on which translation you read. Hey, today's a great day. So you're talking about planning for your week? We're
talking about planning for a week. I would love to share more about ketones. I think most people get a womanly perspective because it's usually me on here, which, by the way, we are starting a podcast very soon. We just moved to Florida. We've been here. Have we been here for a week?
No.
No.
We have not.
We've almost been here a week. We got here earlier this week. Did we get here on Tuesday? Monday?
Tuesday night.
Man, we have done a lot in less than a week. We have moved into a home. We've unpacked trailers. We've gotten our house 80% put together. We just went to our new church, which isn't our new church, but the new church here. We've done a lot of things.
I guess that goes to show you when you are focused, how much stuff you can actually get done.
Right. So, Steve, a couple things. I want to talk about prepping. If there's something that you do every single week, I prefer to get things ready on Sunday so we have a successful week. It doesn't matter what day it is, right? It's what works best for you. But Steve and I also, before we went to church this morning, we're talking about listening to a podcast. We are going to start one, so stay tuned for that. But we were listening to a podcast because here's what people tell me, Steve. Is oftentimes people will get frustrated in the beginning of the week, middle, and it doesn't matter because they messed up, they ate something they didn't want to, they were so busy they skipped the gym, like they keep feeling like they're failing over and over again, and they're living in that failure, and they just don't feel like they can accomplish their goals, reach their goals. They're in this frustration. Like most of you probably on here want to lose weight. That's the reality, right? Most people want to feel better, get healthier. And so the podcast we listened to, I thought was super insightful. Is there anything you want to share about that?
Well, how about I let you kick that part off first?
All right.
Because you did listen to more of it than I did. Yeah. Because I was kind of preoccupied.
Well, okay. We were listening. If you don't listen to Ed Mylett, and he covers a lot of different things. So it's a podcast. His name is Ed Mylett. He was talking to a doctor, and the doctor said, oftentimes you hear people say, get over your past, forget your past, move forward. And I've said this many times, right? Mm-hmm. Your past doesn't have to define you. Well, what this doctor said is if you can put a different image or a different why to your past, or a reason why something happened and what it's doing to move you forward. He basically said this: oftentimes people look at like even 5 minutes ago, right? Or this morning or last week, and you're like, I failed there. I ate the junk food. I fell off the wagon. The summer was hard. My whole life has been a struggle bus in my weight loss. Like, I get that all the time. And he goes, why don't we look at things from our past and say, hey, I've learned this lesson, and move forward with a lesson learned instead of feeling like they're failing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so often in the business world, or just in general, people talk about your past failures or your past mistakes, and you look at it and it basically defines who you are.
Right.
Or maybe some of those failures define who you are. And I think for the most part, a majority of people have a tendency to just say, well, that's what it was, that's who I am.
Right.
Does that make sense? That's who I am. And
it was my
they're stuck there.
parents. Yeah, I grew up that way. I have to be that way because it's in my genetics. It's a lot of things that people blame things on.
And you could look at certain circumstances, like either your friends making mistakes or your parents making mistakes, or you yourself making mistakes, and you could almost say like, well, just because of that's how you saw it. So it was your perspective and how you saw that situation, that activity, those events, that kind of like creates a course of like where you're going in the future. And most of the time it's not positive.
Right.
Or you're afraid to try new things, or you're even afraid to do maybe some things that you used to do in the past because of those failures or because of that negative feeling or emotion that it could conjure up. And here's the interesting thing.
Conjure. It's
an interesting word. I don't know where that came from. The reality is, though, is what happens if you could flip the perspective of the past, of either the mistakes, the negative environments, the negative interactions, behaviors, failures, even maybe some of the examples that the people who are nearest and dearest to you in your life, maybe you saw everything from like, well, I don't want to drink, I don't want to smoke, I don't want to do drugs, I don't want to fill in all the blanks, because it was the negative side of things. I'm not saying go do drugs and smoke and drink and do all that, but what happens if you could flip the perspective and see it from the positive light of either you were modeled an example, or you went through a failure, or there was a setback that could be potentially a setup for a bigger, better, brighter, better future.
I think one of my favorite things he said was, most people look at things from their past and they look at it as a failure. So for so many of you, maybe you're looking at your health. I had somebody message me today. And she said, oh my goodness, I'm so frustrated with myself. She went to I think it was a wedding, and she said, I saw pictures and I'm so mad on how I looked. I didn't think I would let myself get to that space, right? So she can sit in that space, like right now, she can sit in that space of negativity, frustration, anger, and look at it as a mistake and a failure. Or she can go, you want to know what? What can I learn from this? What should I learn from this, and where can I move forward? And that's what I would just say this. I would encourage you to listen to the podcast. It's the most it's called 10X in Your Life. I'll send it to you. If you want that podcast, if you're on Facebook, just post podcast in the comments and I'll send it to you. If you're on Instagram, you have to send me a message.
I like this. I like Steffi's outfit. It's got this like little pocket so I can rest my hand right there. It's great.
I think the biggest thing...
Can I share a personal example?
Yeah, well, can I say one thing and then we'll end this when you're done?
This is all yours.
Well, I just want to say, you either look at stuff that you're going through and you look at it as a mistake and a failure, or you can go, what can I learn from it? Because you've learned a lesson and you move forward with the lesson.
And this hit home to me pretty hard yesterday, and I haven't even talked to you about this. But as you were sharing that, it made me think of something that was actually... yesterday was an awesome day. We got to take our two daughters. I took two of our daughters, and they flew through Fort Lauderdale, and they went off to a different peninsula of Florida. I say all that just to say that was a big deal. But then the rest of the day, I say all that because we have two other daughters who are younger, and we got to have like a really fun day. We got some stuff for the house. We worked hard around the house. We took them to one of our favorite restaurants for breakfast, lunch, brunch, and we took a picture on the pier. It was a selfie picture of you and I. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is such an awesome environment. This is such a beautiful location. My wife is absolutely stunning. When I looked at the picture, I thought, man, you look fat. Not you, me.
You looked at yourself.
And I thought, interesting how you can paint a picture like that. So I say that because that lady who went to that place.
Yeah, she saw pictures
Look at how
of herself.
fast your mind can tell you.
So you're
lies.
saying in one split second you were like, this place is incredible, and then you looked at the picture and you were frustrated.
So then you think about how your thinking becomes things.
Right.
So this morning I thought, you know what? I've been actually doing all of the right activities. I've been eating right. I've been drinking my ketones. I've been moving my body. I've been resting. I've been working on reducing my stress.
Yeah.
Like all of these things of doing the right habits, the right patterns, making the right behavioral shifts. I stepped on the scale, which I don't do very often, and I was actually at a very great number. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, look at, just like that, in an instant, depending on how the camera was angled, or all of those little things. So let this story resonate in your life. Where are those areas in your life where maybe just you're pivoted down a little bit too far, or the angle's not exactly right? Is this making sense? Like, what are the areas in your life that you're like, I'm only like one shift away. I'm only one decision away. I'm only one mental thought away from shifting myself to saying, I'm actually doing everything really right. And I'm not going to let this one setback or this one picture or this one bad choice like depict where my future is going.
Yeah.
It's not going to determine my entire future because I'm making the right decisions and the best is yet to come.
I love that. And if you're not making the right decisions, stop beating yourself up and realizing everything that you do can be a learning lesson. That's what it was about, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
can you talk about the 10X part?
All right. So yes. So here's what I want you to know. If you want to listen to that podcast, I'll send you the link. So post podcast below. I'll send you the podcast like we listened to this morning because I thought it was super powerful. And I especially think anybody who's ever gone through like traumatic experiences in their past, I think should listen to this. I think we had our friend listen to it and he was like, incredible. So there's a little bit more to that. You can listen to it or you share it. And then we're going to talk about this week.
Oh, this week.
Well, just giving you some insight.
Well, I like the other part of it, and we didn't even get through all of it. But from what I remember hearing, talked about 10xing your results and certain things. And I think so often we try to just manage and measure just like the small things.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm going to just start drinking my ketones this week.
Right.
Like that's going to be a small thing that I'm going to measure. I can kind of see this going both ways because sometimes you can get so caught up in the overwhelm.
Right. So like I did a live a couple of days ago and I said one of the things that I learned personally was we listened to a lot of podcasts, but he said what people do is they try to do all the things all at the same time and they get so frustrated. But if they master one thing, mastery means you do it without thinking.
Yeah.
Then that's how they create a lifestyle, right?
I think I'm still in line with that because I think of it as like mastery stacking.
So the podcast that we listened to, I think gave great perspective on how to get past the past or take it with you in a learning lesson. He also had a lot of business things that I think would 10x your business. But I think when you're looking at your health, which is most people on here, in order to make a lifestyle change, well, you're going to start with a diet and then keep it into a lifestyle. You're going to master one thing at a time and drink ketones.
You really should be drinking these.
I agree.
This is one mastery habit that you should be stacking every day.
Yeah.
So if you're not drinking these, you should be. If you want to know more about it, just comment ketones or send Stephanie a direct message.
Yeah. Well, we can chat more about it. But okay, really quick, tell us, what are you doing to prepare to have a successful week? So for us, Steve is going to go look in the freezer very shortly. We're going to plan for things we already have. We've got tacos on the agenda. What we are doing to give our family some more peace of mind and a flow that doesn't cause us to go through the fast food. Like it helps. It's something that you don't have to think about. If you can master one day a week prepping for the rest of your week, it can set up your entire week. So we're going to go, hey, what's our favorite meals? And we're going to go, here's Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, basic, maybe put 2 or 3 meals, and that's it. And we're going to make it so it's a simple process. We don't have to think about it.
Yeah, it's been pretty eye-opening for us as we've been moving, packing boxes, and then unpacking boxes. I mean, it's kind of like an example for your life. How many things you hold on to, or how many things that you should really be getting rid of, or just at least maybe this is just an American thing. Like I look at this cupboard that we brought with us and I'm like, all right, there's actually a lot of stuff in there that we should and could be using. But we have a tendency just to go to the store
and buy more.
And that buy more could be in a lot of different areas. It could be in clothing. It could be in shoes. It could be in I can't tell if you're staring at me.
I'm reading a comment. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. So it's one of these things where it's like, at the end of the day, we just want to be a good steward of what we've been given. We want to be a good steward of our time. We want to be a good steward of our finances. We want to be good stewards of our body. I really do believe like your body is important. I talked to an old man the other day, a wise man. He was just saying, if you don't have your health, nothing else matters.
It's true.
And it's also fascinating because we have some people who are very close to us where it's like they're like picture perfect health and they're going through some crazy life-changing times right now.
Right.
And so I just want to encourage you, if you're making poor choices or if you've got if you look in the rearview mirror of your life and it's not filled with great things, today can be a new day. It can be a clean slate.
Yeah.
We're using this Sunday to be a launching board for the rest of the week. And we're not just doing it because we're in Florida and we're living in a new place and we've got a new schedule. Like, we're going to be super intentional. And I want to encourage you to be super intentional with your time because you've only got this one life. And we want you to live it to its fullest.
Yeah, I love that. So we would encourage you today, take some time. And it's the simple things like go through your refrigerator, go through your pantry, go through your freezer, plan your meals. That's one thing you can do to have a successful week. What are you going to do for the gym? Like, it's as silly as it may sound, but I tell people, wash your laundry, get your gym clothes ready, put your shoes by the door. Little things to set yourself up for success so you don't make excuses, right? Having, like Steve puts his shaker bottle in the refrigerator. It's extra cold in the morning. He puts his ketones in there. Like, there's things that he does to prepare for his week. I know he puts a glass of water by the side of his bed, so when he wakes up, he drinks his glass of water. There's things he does intentionally so that he has a successful week and you move forward towards your goals. Anything else?
I think she's beautiful. I think that's very good.
Well, okay, so there's lots of things we could talk about.
There's
I'm not
lots of stuff.
I'm going to prepare for school. There's lots of things that we're going to do. I would just say this. You know what you need to plan for. You know your goals. If you don't, I would revisit them and just take some time, 30 minutes to plan so that you've got it all laid out so you don't have to make excuses.
Yep. I think what I'm most excited about this week is we are launching our Happy Couple podcast. We got to re-record the first episode, our intro, and there's a lot of topics that we're going to actually do a deep dive into.
How about this? What would you like to hear on the Happy Couples podcast? So on the podcast, and I'll share it on the Keto Mom page, but something that I've been super kind of antsy about is this page has been labeled Keto Mom. Therefore, we've set ourselves in this space of keto. There's so many things we love to talk about. We want to talk about marriage and finances and parenting and God and religion and church and there's so many things that we are going to start sharing, not just about health. We'll interweave that in there, but we like to look at our life and things that we want to share with you like a circle, like a tire, and you've got different spokes in your life. And I truly believe that people don't either manage their health well or don't feel like they're hitting their health goals because there might be a different spoke in your life that's broken. It could be financial, it could be relationships, it could be spiritual. And if you don't fix another spoke that's broken, even maybe that spoke is broken in half and maybe your physical spoke is just bent. Like, if you can look at your life and go, where do I need to fix things in order to come together and actually roll in a circle? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Then that's what we're going to be doing on a podcast with each other, different perspectives, male, female, so you can hear husband and a wife, so we can kind of help you along some of those other journeys to get you to be the healthier version of you.
Yep. So the question is, what are some of the topics that you'd like us to talk about, do a deep dive in, cover the full circle of all of that?
Yeah.
I'm excited. Great things are happening. We're going to go plan the rest of our day. We hope that this live was encouraging to you.
I was going to cheers you.
We hope that it helps you redefine your past to create a better and brighter future. And let today be a day where it can be a day where you sit on the couch and watch a lot of football for a lot of people, or you can let it be a day where you sit on the couch, you get out a pen and a paper, you write down all of the things that you're excited to accomplish this week, and you really do the work today to plan for a really successful week. Because we've only been given this one life, and we want you to live it to your best.
A couple people said, what's it going to be called? We'll let you know when we launch it in our stories and the Keto Mom page. It's going to be called The Happy Couple. And we're super excited. Any other questions that you have, you can ask below. You can send me a message. you can always go to ketomomsecrets.com. All one word, ketomomsecrets.com. You can click on how to get started, recipes. If you want to try ketones, Steve and I are going to be packing some of these up. We'll probably come on and do a live later this evening.
Yeah, we gotta do that.
Because we have to pack these up. We send them out in trials every day. So I've been drinking ketones. We have been drinking ketones for 8 years. They're incredible. They put you in ketosis. They're a tool, right? To help you manage your hunger, get your booty off the couch. Your energy is incredible. They help with fat loss and so much more. So post trial down below if you want to know more about these.
Yeah, and if you have been drinking them for a long time, the reason why we moved to this location, the reason why we have this house is because we want to use it to pour into people who are on our team. So we're going to be doing mastermind events where we're going to be doing mindset walks on the beach. We're going to be hanging out, talking about business, talking about life, and where you're at and where you want to go with some dream board activities. So if that's something that ever piques your curiosity, like,
what are these ketones?
I want to
What's
sit
this
in the
business?
living room.
What is this
and
opportunity?
I want to know more about what it is that I can do to live a better life.
Yeah.
We want you to either comment better down below or send Stephanie a message
Better.
about what that looks like to becoming a promoter, to joining our team, and to building something of greatness together.
We would love to have you join us. All right, have a wonderful day. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Go start planning your week. Have a successful week. We're here to help. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.